Hey everyone, so welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up your Nintendo Switch 2, okay? So we're talking about this one right over here, the Nintendo Switch 2. So this video is going to be particularly useful for individuals. Let's say that you just got your Nintendo Switch 2 and you're wondering how to actually go ahead and set it up. Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So first things first, you want to make sure that you have all the contents within the box, right? You never know, maybe the box has been tampered with before you bought it, so it might be missing some items. Maybe it's a return and someone took one of the Joy-Cons. You never know. So first things first, let's make sure that we have everything. So first, you have the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Then you have two Joy-Cons. Okay, so you have a left and right Joy-Con. So left Joy-Con, right Joy-Con. And then within here, you have two Joy-Con wrist strap accessories. All right, two Joy-Con wrist strap accessories. You have one high-speed HDMI cable. And then if you pull this box out, we have the Joy-Con grip. This is right here is the Joy-Con grip. Then you have the AC adapter. So this is going to be the main power outlet for your Nintendo Switch. And then of course you have the actual Nintendo 2 Switch housing unit. So this is what you're going to be using in order to go ahead and charge it, dock it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and start off with the docking unit actually. So go ahead and grab your docking unit and then grab your power outlet and also grab the Type-C cable that it came with. And so there's different ways to set it up as far as what TV you're actually connecting it to. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to actually go ahead and set up your Nintendo Switch 2 and connect it to a TV. So first, let's place it down on our TV stand. And what we'll do is that we'll unplug the power plug like this, and then we have our Type-C cable, which is right over here as well. So let's go ahead and loosen this up, and then in order to pop this portion off, it basically just pops up. Okay, so let's leave it off for a couple of minutes while we go ahead and set this up. Now I find that it's a lot easier to actually go ahead and plug everything into the Nintendo Switch 2 first. So let's plug it in here. So the Type-C cable goes into where it says AC adapter, and then let's also get our high-speed HDMI cable. So this right here is our high-speed HDMI cable. Let's go ahead and untie this as well, and then let's go ahead and plug our HDMI to where it says HDMI out, and there. So now we have two things plugged in. So at this point you can put the cover back in. I'll do it later though, but let's go ahead and actually first plug in our Type-C cable into our AC adapter, which is right over here, and we'll use this to actually plug into my TV stand here. And then we'll take the HDMI cable. So the TV that I'm using is a Vizio TV, okay, so it's from like 2016 I believe, so it's a pretty old TV, but most TVs do have an HDMI port. Okay, so if you look on the side there, you can see that there's an HDMI port right over there. So this is my HDMI cable, and so let me just go ahead and plug it straight into that port. And so what I've essentially done is that I've plugged my HDMI cable to my TV from the Nintendo Switch dock. All right, I know right now the cables are starting to look a bit ugly. And then I've also plugged my AC adapter into my Nintendo Switch port, and so that's going to serve as the power source. So let me go ahead and put these wires down a bit just so we can get it a bit cleaner. And I think at this point I could actually go ahead and close this up, and there you go. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is that let's actually go ahead and grab our TV remote real quick. Okay, so this is what my TV remote looks like. Again, it's a really old Vizio TV remote, but I'm going to power on my TV. So right now my TV is turning on, and then most remote controls, they have like an input option. So the input is going to be used to change the setting from your TV. Maybe you have multiple HDMI cables, so you can go from input 1 to input 2 to input 3, etc. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to wait for my TV to go ahead and turn on. And again, it's a pretty old TV. And then I'm going to press the input button, and I'm going to go to where it says HDMI 1. Okay, I believe it's HDMI 1. All right, so I've selected HDMI 1, which I'm hoping is this HDMI right over here. Again, some TVs have multiple HDMI imports. So there's 4 HDMI imports on my TV here. So I have one over here and I have 3 on the other side, but I actually don't know which is which. But let's hopefully go with HDMI port 1. Now at this point, what we can do is that let's grab our Nintendo Switch 2 monitor and let's actually go ahead and place it on top of the screen. So, or place it on top of the docking station. So the docking station, make sure that the Type-C cable is facing down, and then let's place it on just like that. And you can see that now it's been turned on. Right now we have a green light over there as well, so all good signs. Now if we go back to our TV, let's change the input once more. So we'll try multiple different HDMI inputs. So first we'll try HDMI 1 and see if anything spawns from there. So nothing. Maybe it's HDMI 2. Okay, nothing from there. Then HDMI 3. So you might have to follow through the same sequence, and then HDMI 4. Is it HDMI 4? Okay, so As you can see, we received no signal from any of the HDMI inputs. I still believe that it might be HDMI 1, and so I just have to simply power it on. So the power button here is this button here on the Nintendo Switch. And what we're looking for is a green light indicator to show that it's turning on. And let's see if we get anything right now. So as you can see, it says Nintendo Switch right up there, and perfect. So now we can go ahead and follow the on-screen prompts of how to set this up. So I guess my mistake earlier was that you want to make sure that the green light indicator is on. And as you can see, if you can look very closely there, there's like a monitor screen. I think that basically means that it's connected to the monitor. So the indicator right now is telling me to grab the right and then attach it to the Switch 2 console. So here we have the right Joy-Con, which is just gonna magnetically attach to right over there. And then we're gonna grab our left Joy-Con and same thing, let's magnetically attach it to the left one, just like that. And then now let's see what happens. So now we have a loading screen, perfect. We have some sound coming out. Awesome. So at this point, it looks like we have to select our language. So I believe I can pull the Joy-Con sticks out. Okay, so right now it's asking for the language. So let me go ahead and pull the Joy-Con sticks out. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I can attach it to my Joy-Con grip. So in order to pull the Joy-Con sticks out, zoom in, you got to push this button here and it pops right out. Okay, so if you push this button, this one pops right out. Same thing with the right Joy-Con, push this button, pops right out. And then let's put it onto our Joy-Con grip just like that. And so now let's step back and let's go ahead and see how to actually set this up. So select your correct language. So I'm in the US. All right, English US, and then I'll press, so I'm using the left Joy-Con to actually select which language, and then I'll press A. And then for the regions, I'm in the Americas, so I'll press, again, A. And then the end user license agreement, basically by checking this box, select next, you agree to the end user license agreement, click on accept, press A, and then click on next. Now, in order to connect this to the internet, just simply click on internet settings, and then you simply just want to go ahead and find your Wi-Fi, and then connect to your Wi-Fi. So this is my Wi-Fi right over here. I'm going to click on A, and then simply just type in your password, okay? So I'll do this very, very shortly, but let me go ahead and just continue with the rest of the prompts. And so we'll do X as in don't set. And then next you want to set your time zone. So I'm in the Pacific Standard Time, which I think is UTC -7. So we'll select this. And then for today's date, let's see, today is July 3rd. $2025, and it's currently 4:27 p.m. Click on OK. And you can also, it looks like you can actually transfer data from your Nintendo Switch to your Nintendo Switch 2. So you can start a system transfer, or you can don't transfer, but we can do this later. Let's say don't transfer if you don't have a Switch, but we'll do this step later. Or should I do this step now, actually? So we'll do this step later, actually. Now, as far as change play style, you can see that there's multiple ways to play the Switch. You can use that as a handheld device. You can use it as a tiny monitor like in that one. Or you can do what I'm doing, which is holding the Joy-Con grip and then playing on your TV. And then just keep in mind that on the Switch 2, there is a stand to adjust the best viewing angle, okay? And you could also connect the AC adapter to the top of the system in case you need to charge it. I'm gonna click on next. And then as far as detaching the two Joy-Con controllers, I like this tutorial actually. So you simply just press this button here and press this button here, and it just pops right out. Now, as far as the accessories go, we have the Joy-Con grip, and then just don't forget about the Joy-Con wrist straps as well, which are these little things. These are basically used to make sure that you don't let go of the controller, and it also makes it so that the SL and SR button are a lot easier to go ahead and press. But we're gonna go and click on skip, and then again, just reminding you of the different styles, and then click on OK. And then lastly, let's add a user. So we're gonna click on next, and then click on add without signing in. So we're gonna choose an icon here. We'll choose the pig for now. I think that's a pig, right? And then we'll name this pig J, and then click on OK. And now the user has been added to the system, and then we can click on skip. So if more than one user will be using the system, this is the time when you can actually add them. So for family members, this would be a perfect time to add your spouse, add your kids, etc. But we're gonna skip this portion for now. And then for parental controls, you can set parental controls, or you can skip it. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip it. And now the preparation has been complete. So now on your Switch, the right Joy-Con stick, there is gonna be a home button that you press, and basically, voila. Your Nintendo Switch 2 has now been set up. So at this point, you could actually go ahead and install some games. Or if you want, you could actually go ahead and browse the game chat. There's news, there's Nintendo eShop. There's so many different things you could do. But that's pretty much it, guys. As far as setting this up goes, there you have it. That right there is the best and easiest way that I know of to actually go ahead and set up the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.